This week we explore the consequences of trying to stop the rain and weathering with you. I'm Chad,
I'm Matt.
and you're listening to episode 123 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. I if I wasn't afraid of YouTube copyrighting it, I should have put that song "You Can't Stop the Rain" on here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they was gonna shut that all the way down.
Yes. All right, so we're back, Matt. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Feeling real good. How are you doing?
I'm not bad. I feel a little lighter. I don't know why, but
I have some ideas.
hmm, maybe we can explore that offline.
Yes, yes.
All right, man. So, actually, I do want to talk about something before we get into our topics. So time of recording, this was the first week of school, and I saw that you posted a photo of your son on the first day of school. So, my first question is, did he look like that when he came home? Because those pictures where like the parents like do up the kids' hair, had it's the nice, cleanest little clothes, and they come home looking like they got into a fight.
Well, as a kid, when he was younger, elementary school days, yeah. But now he's in middle school, so nah. Only thing is like his shoes be dirty. We fresh pair of
Scuffing.
shoes. Yeah. But besides that, he came back the same. Um he got his class had to get his classes changed. But besides that, yeah, he really enjoyed it. He met the teachers, everything. Everybody sees real cool, so he excited. So I'm excited too.
Good. What grade you say he's going to?
Seventh.
Okay, look at him getting older. The older he gets, the older you get, man.
I know my back be hurting just thinking about that.
Ugh, yuck. But all right, man. What is grazing?
Grazing, I did not know what this was until the other day. So grazing is when you're in a grocery store, convenience store, and you are eating the food before you purchase it.
I've seen people do that, but I've never known it had a name.
Yes. So there was this whole discussion about this on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I'm old. About if this is right or wrong, if this is illegal or not illegal, and things like that. So before I get into the details, Chad, what is your thoughts, feelings about people doing this?
So I don't. So that's the thing. If you don't pay for it, then yes, I think it's illegal. But if you, but if you go up in there, grab a box of cookies, eat the box of cookies, do some browsing, and then go to the checkout and have them ring out an empty box of cookies, sure, it's not really the system that's in place, but sure. But if you go in there, eat a box of cookies, and then hide that empty box in the frozen food refrigerator, then yeah, that's bad form.
I always speaking of that, I always think of I see a picture where it was a half-eaten rotisserie chicken in like the tire section of Walmart.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You know how Walmart gets down.
But we're gonna assume this is all on the up and up, where you're gonna eat it and you're going to pay for it.
It's not bad. It's just uncommon. It's not the system that we have in place. Just like how, yes, we'll sometimes go to most restaurants you go and sit down and you eat and then you pay. But then there's restaurants where you go in, you pay, and then you eat.
Okay, so now that was brought up in this thread to where when you're in a Walmart or something, nobody told you you could eat this food.
Nobody told you
I.e.,
you couldn't.
but then when you go to a restaurant and you sit down, that is the restaurant acknowledging you can sit down and eat this food and pay later. Nobody initiated for you to come in here and eat this food and pay later.
Right.
My thoughts on it, no, I don't do this. I don't know if it's because I just think that it's not that serious unless you like a diabetic or something like that, and you need to eat something right now, to me, it's not that serious for me to pop up, open some chips. Now, the only caveat I can say, like, for example, say if you have like a screaming kid or something like that, and you want to give them some candy or something, sure. But you walking around just eating stuff because you hungry, that's, to me, that feels like some privilege type stuff that you couldn't wait till you pay for this. So then somebody else brought up that they were or are a cashier, and it was like they don't want to be handling basically your garbage, to
Yeah.
scan your garbage, to because you do that. And the other side was, some people was like, oh, it doesn't matter, just give me the box, I can do it or whatever. I see both sides of it. I would never do this because me, I am not paranoid, but I wouldn't want to be caught somewhere in the store eating something I did not pay for, because I can see
It's,
how that would turn out.
well, yeah, it's because you're black.
Right.
No, like I'm with you, but like also on the flip side, like I said, there's nothing that says you cannot eat this food before you pay for it in a store. It's just like it's just something we've all uh, it's an unspoken agreement that we won't do it, but we've not really said we shouldn't.
And I went through a lot of stuff to look for this. Yes, there is no law against this, and most stores do not have a policy that says you can't. Now, with that being said, there is some stores that do have a policy you cannot do this. Apparently, there's a store in Texas called HEB or Heb.
Heard of
I
it.
don't know.
I've heard it. It's
They
HEB.
okay. They do have a policy at that store that you cannot do that.
I mean, that feels anti-homeless, but yes.
So I guess it all depends. So um, next time you out in the store and you see somebody walking around with some chips, just moo at them because they're grazing.
I will not moo at a person, but I hear you.
So Chad, just like me, Roku is showing our age.
Yeah. So this week's movie was on sorry, I was about to say HBO. It's on Max, the place to find HBO. Um and so like my main streaming device is my Roku. I've had it for maybe 4 or 5 years now. So I'm
Mhm.
clicking around in the Max app, and it's just like I hit down, and it's just like a bit of a delay before it goes down. And then I went to the search function and search for the movie we're gonna review. And it's like, okay, you want to go to you, which is at the bottom. How about when you hit down, I just keep moving down like 7 buttons, even though you pushed it one time. I'm like, oh, okay. So I switched to my Apple TV and it's just smooth as butter. And I'm like, I don't like this.
You're right.
I don't
Yeah.
like this at
Apple
all.
Apple TV real quick be like that as soon as you get to search, you want to speak into it? Hey, don't
Right.
mind if I do.
Right. But while I was on Max, I checked out the first 2 episodes of a reality show called Survive the Raft. I kept sending Matt, Rachel, and Fran in our group chat clips from it. Essentially, the premise of the show is they're reenacting an experiment from the early 70s, I believe, where several people from different walks of life, like different races, different orientations, different sex, are on this raft, and they're trying to coexist. But since this is also a TV game show, they have to do like games, kind of like a Survivor type situation. Like if you've ever seen Survivor, like games kind of like that.
Mhm.
To like earn money for the pot, that they're gonna split at the end. And so like my whole thing is like it's like ridiculous. Like the first clip that I sent them was the initial interview. It was a black guy that was in the Navy. And I'm like, okay, okay. I'm with you so far. And he had a white wife, and I'm like, okay, some of this is starting to make sense because he's also Jewish. I was like, okay, okay, I'm with you. All right, I'm with you. I can see where we're going here. And then he's like, I'm conservative. I'm like, huh? And then his kids didn't look like his kids.
No, not at
And
all.
then and then lastly, he's like, I'm also a um what is the word? Rachel's gonna be mad at me. When you're over the synagogue rabbi, he's also a rabbi. And I'm like, there's a lot of things happening here with your story, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like there was another one where there's a vegan on the ship and she started crying because like they were fishing and they got food. Like they got fish and they were like, oh man, we're gonna eat some fish tonight. And she just started crying. I'm like,
You knew you was
this
gonna be on a raft.
right. I'm like, this show is gonna make me a Republican. Like I can't stand this. Like there's like the one black girl on the raft. She has all these tensions with everybody because like she is being her authentic self. And I'm like, girl, you know you can't do that. You know they don't understand. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like every time they try to talk to her, she's coming at them with the full force of a black woman. And I'm like, as a black man, I hear you and I understand, but these white people do not, baby. Like you can't do this.
Right. What's the word I'm looking for? You have to.
Code switch.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like she's not going to make it too far into the game. Like I've only seen the first two episodes, and the first person they got rid of was the Middle Eastern lady.
Oh, that's okay. Then she's probably next then.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see where it goes. Like it's the only thing is like the show is just really draining because it's like I like I like reality type shows. Like I like Survivor. Survivor is probably like one of the best reality shows on TV. But they're adding these hot button issues and it's just like we're beating a dead horse because like nobody's gonna move on this. And so like I feel like in traditional reality shows when any of that stuff came up, they cut it. Yes, I get you. You don't want to alienate a certain audience, but it's like nobody's gonna hear what the other person's saying. It's like that's not interesting.
Right. Right.
So yeah. But you caught a sequel to a movie you thoroughly enjoyed, huh, Matt?
Yeah. Shout out to young Rachel out there who reminded me that Vacation Friends 2 dropped. Now, if y'all don't remember, I loved. Let me repeat that. I loved the original Vacation Friends. I thought it was hilarious, entertaining, everything with that. Now let's get to Vacation Friends 2. I was disappointed.
Okay,
Um,
so before you go into this, I haven't seen it, but like my thing is like, you know that phenomenon, like don't ask me to provide examples, where like you'll see a trailer for a movie and you're like, this looks fucking stupid. Why did they even make this? And you see the movie and it surprises you and you're like, this was so good. Like why was that trailer so bad? And then they're like, we're making a sequel. And you're like, I can't wait. And the sequel is what you thought the movie is going to be.
mhm.
Yeah.
Not kind of like that. It's like I get why they did it. Excuse me. Vacation Friends was phenomenal. I loved everything about it. So of course, let's continue this train rolling. They have all the main characters are back, and we're just gonna add in a new wrinkle, and we're gonna go where the first Vacation Friends, I legit laughed out loud multiple times throughout that one. This one, it was entertaining. It was good for what it was, but it's not topping Vacation Friends. Like I might have gave Vacation Friends on Letterbox a 4 or 5. With this one, I'm giving it about a 3. Um, it's not boring or anything, but it's the first one was so good, so I was looking for this to be so good too, but it missed the mark. But I still
Um,
want to give a shout out to
can
everybody out there.
can you elaborate what the issues were?
Okay, so vacation friends were a couple goes on vacation, meets another couple who's eccentric, loud, brazen, blah blah blah, antics happen. So now at the end, they remain friends. So then now they're going back on vacation because John Cena and Meredith Hagner, Ronnie and Kylie, they gonna celebrate their honeymoon. So they go on vacation with them, and
Wait. So
Like,
the black couple's gonna celebrate that this going on their honeymoon?
okay, so no, the white couple, John Cena's couple, they are celebrating their honeymoon.
Like their wedding anniversary, or are they just getting
I
married?
mean, their wedding anniversary. Sorry, excuse me, their wedding anniversary. They're selling their wedding anniversary now because they got married in the first one. So then now, antics happen to where like a parent comes back that was in prison, um, in different hijinks. But it just to me, it wasn't as funny as the first one.
Okay.
But I'm going to transition real quick. So you won't be upset if you watch Vacation Friends 2, but I'm just saying it doesn't live up to the hype of the first one. In this movie, do you know Ronnie Chang, the
Yeah,
actor?
he's been in a lot of stuff this summer. Like he was in
So
Joyride. He was in that one that I saw a couple weeks ago that reminded me of my life. Yeah.
yeah, that one. So Ronnie Chang was in Vacation Friends 2. So right after Vacation Friends 2, I watched Joyride. And he's in this too. So get your money, Ronnie Chang.
Yes,
So
get all of it.
so I watched Joyride, and I know you've already did your review on it. Before when you watched it and you told me about it, you said that it has a lot of sex talk in this. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay. As I'm watching this, what did I text you?
Um, they horny or something like that. And we text too much for me to actually reference it. Hold up. Oh, why? Wait, wait, wait. eh. Yeah, this movie has a lot of sex talk. Did they show
Yeah,
old girl's booty?
yeah. So so yes, this is it's a lot of sex talk. N- Not in a bad way. It's basically for the people who don't remember, you have two childhood friends, both of Asian descent. One's a lawyer, one's an artist. The lawyer is sent to China to close the deal, and while they're there, they decide to find her birth parent because she was adopted. Um, and all of problems, scenarios, hijinks, and sure these Asian Pacific movies.
Yeah.
Um, and also like it's introducing new characters to us, or not new characters, new actors and actresses to us that we didn't know. Um, but I enjoyed this movie. Shout out Ashley Park, Sherry Cola. Sherry,
Hmm.
something about Sherry Cola makes me
She reminds me of Sandra Oh.
like something about her personality. I want to be friends with her. I
Yeah.
think that she like hanging out with her will be a great time. Not on like some sexual stuff, but like she's like her personality seems great. She'll be funny. Like she just has something like I want to hang out with her.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie I was trying to remember is called Shortcomings, and she's in that also. And like same energy. It's like, yes, I want you as my friend in real life. Apparently, she was in Turning Red. She played somebody named Helen, but it's been too long since we've seen that, so I don't know who Helen is.
Helen is her the main girl's friend,
Why
one
do
of her
you remember
friends.
that? Why do you remember
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Some things sticks in my mind. Other things are get left behind.
Well, she was the friend in Turning Red.
And also, I know we gave her a lot of love on everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But Stephanie
Shoe.
Shu,
Mhm.
great in this one. And that's when I sent you that text message. I was like, they showing booty in here? Cause there's a scene in here where they lose their passports and they have to fly to
Korea.
Korea. And they pretend to be pop stars and they sing a Cardi B song, and one of the characters steps on her dress and then they show her booty, and another lady part in this movie. And that's what I was like.
Oh,
I was
I
like,
forgot about that.
yeah, the tattoo.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they out here showing booty in this movie. But yeah, overall, yeah, not for the kids at all.
No.
But but for the grown folks, it's good. I recommend this. So yeah, if you have a late night with whoever you with, give Joyride a try. It's good. You'll laugh
Yeah.
out loud.
Speaking of late night movies, I caught Blue Beetle, the latest DC movie.
Wait, before you get
Um,
started, how many people were in the theater?
it was packed, man.
So you saying the social media is lying to me that people aren't going out seeing this movie?
Well, I say this. I went to an IMAX screening. So like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like IMAX screening is always going to have a good crowd of people because they want to see it on the biggest and baddest screen. Now, if I went to like the theater down the street from me, which is just a regular old screen, I feel like it would have been just a handful of people.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, brief synopsis. We're gonna get the clipboard out. Um, a hero, an ordinary guy gets into like a weird situation where he's thrust upon and gets like gets something that changes his life that gives him powers. He gets the mystical scarab that bonds with him, and basically he has like an Iron Man suit from it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's a lot of like we're just gonna do superhero. We're just gonna hit all the beats of a standard superhero movie. But since the character's Mexican, we're gonna throw some Mexican stuff in here, like we're gonna throw some Spanish in here, or we're gonna throw like just some things that Mexican people would recognize from their day-to-day life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's like so we got the trope of like, we oh man, we need to save our house because they're gonna foreclose on us. Well, that they don't own the house, they're gonna get kicked out. Oh man, the villain is basically the hero, but a different color. So like Blue Beetle is blue, the bad guy's suit is red, that kind of dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
The hero is essentially a pacifist, so like in the middle of the movie the hero is attacked by the bad guy and he whips his ass, and then the suit's like, all right, and now let's kill him, and he's like, no, suit, I don't want to kill him, that's wrong. And what happens? Dude gets up and beats him within an inch of his life, and I'm like, my dude. But then also when we're fighting minions, we're like just the restraints are off. Like he's essentially murdering the minions, but the main bad guy,
Uh-huh.
no, we can't do that. No, that's where he draws the line.
Right.
But no, it was a lot of fun. It was very funny. The lead is somebody from that TV show, Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I've never seen it,
That's
but
that's the guy from
yeah,
Cobra Kai.
the Latino boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He look a lot taller now, but also I fell off Cobra Kai after the second season, so that was a long time ago.
that's fair. That's fair.
Good for
Um,
him.
get that money, my boy.
Right.
Um,
But how was late night show? George Lopez.
he was funny.
I'd have to think about it.
He was the paranoid uncle. But the only thing is, like, out of nowhere, he's like a tech genius, and I'm like, what?
Is he like the comedy relief in the movie?
Yes, yes, he
Okay.
is.
Okay. Did they have a after credit spoilers or after credit scenes?
Yeah, but honestly, they weren't that good. You can like, if you actually see the movie, you good as soon as the movie properly ends.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the first one is set up like a potential sequel, but we know that there won't be a sequel. Not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying because of the box office, but because of where DC is as a company right now.
Right, right.
And then the other one was just like an in joke, a joke based of something that happened in the movie.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I saw some stuff before the movie came out that Ben Affleck's Batman was in it, and I don't doubt at one point he probably did film a scene for it, but it makes no sense to show that if this universe is dead.
Right, right. Yeah,
So I also caught a little bit of TV because you know how I feel about TV shows, man.
you love
Uh
them, more of them.
you, you know it. Why would we waste time making a story for 2 hours when we can stretch it out to 6 to 10 hours? Silly.
Sprinkle in those little details,
Right.
those side missions.
Yeah, so I saw the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars show on Disney Plus. Essentially, this is a direct sequel to the animated show Rebels, which I did not watch. But the story is pretty much Ahsoka. She's hunting a Imperial officer named Thrawn.
Real quick, who is she?
So Ahsoka is a character that they made up in the first animated show, The Clone Wars, where they gave Anakin a student, or he's called a Padawan. They're called Padawans, but they gave him a student. But in no movies was this ever referenced. So like
Okay,
they're just like, oh yeah, because like the show's just like we're just making shit up as we go, and then it became like, no, this is actually a thing once Disney took over.
okay,
So she's a character that was throughout all of Clone Wars, and as typical with the internet, they hated her because they were calling her Mary Sue, and she was a girl and all this stuff. And now that the new female character Rey from the new Star Wars movies is out, they're like, why can't she be more like Ahsoka? We love Ahsoka, but like, no, you're the same people that are saying Ahsoka sucks. So pick a
hmm,
lane, bro. Pick a lane.
right,
But okay, so she was in all of Clone Wars, and then she came in later in the Rebels TV show. So
hmm.
she's a fan favorite. And who knows what happened? Well, I do know what happened to her, like why she didn't appear in like the proper Star Wars movies. They did something with her character that basically took her off the board for however long that took place.
Okay,
So anyway, she's searching for an imperial officer who this movie takes place after Return of the Jedi but before The Force Awakens. So she's searching for an imperial officer that could essentially reignite the war and bring the empire back. And so she's like going along trying to, get the band back together somewhat. And on paper, this story is interesting because like there's bad guys that are trying to find this imperial leader too, but to help him. And so like you've got like two new Jedi characters, and like the dude, he's already getting thirsted on. He's like an older guy who actually died in real life before the show even premiered. And then he's got an apprentice who's like an evil hot Polish woman. So it's like, a lot of stuff happening there. Um, so on paper, the story is interesting. Like I want to see where this goes. But what I don't like, and I feel like this on all Star Wars shows except Andor, is that the world feels empty. Like there's a scene where somebody's driving down a highway and like they're the only car on the highway. They're the only like vehicle on the highway. And this is like it's
hmm.
supposed to be like a major city. Are like that when they're in space, they're flying, and it's like the only thing you see is the planet they're about to land on. There's no moons, there's no stars. And like in the second episode, they're fighting at a shipping yard, and like part of the fight is like two ships are like the bad guys are trying to leave the planet and the good guys are chasing them in their ship. And mind you, this is a shipping yard, and these are the only two ships in the air. Like that, you should be ducking and weaving between like other ships trying to come in and either pick up supplies or leave with supplies.
Like a James Bond movie.
Right. And so like it just feels like, it's an effects heavy show because it's Star Wars. And like they're like, well, we can't really populate this whole thing because that's gonna cost too much money. And so like that's what I don't really like about the show. It's that it just feels too empty. And it as a result of it feeling empty, it feels cheap, even though I'm sure this show costs a lot of money.
How many episodes is there going to be? Do you know?
I want to say six, but that might be me lying to you. Um,
Eight. Eight.
eight. Okay. So we'll see where it goes.
Do you think how some people feel Marvel TV shows has hurt the franchise? Do you feel Star Wars TV shows have hurt or helped the franchise?
I feel like Baby Yoda did a lot of good for the franchise, but then you got stuff like Book of Boba Fett, which people unanimously just like all collectively hate. And then you got like the last season.
Except for me.
You liked it?
Also, I'm not a Star Wars person, and I haven't seen the other
Well,
TV shows. I like Boba Fett though.
that's fair. That's fair. And then you got stuff like the last season of The Mandalorian, where it was very clear they didn't actually want to do that season. Like, if you remember that one woman, she got fired because she was posting that crazy shit on Twitter.
Mhm.
And so she was supposed to have her own TV show. And I think basically the plot of season 3 of The Mandalorian would have been her TV show, where most of season 3 wasn't even following The Mandalorian. They were doing stuff on Coruscant, which is like the capital planet.
Mhm.
And so like you barely saw the Mandalorian in his own show that third season. And it's like people didn't like it because it's like if this show's called The Mandalorian, I want to see The Mandalorian. I don't want to
Right.
see these other people doing stuff, which was interesting, but that's not what we came here for.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
I feel like that's what's hurting the show more. Like at least they aren't like dumping like product after product after product like the MCU. Like it's clearly a smaller team working on the Star Wars stuff.
Mhm.
Andor bumped it up a lot. Andor is probably the best Star Wars property we've gotten since the original movies.
Mhm.
Because do you know what the volume screen is?
Mm-mm. No.
So you know CGI, right? Where you're standing in front of the sorry, green screen, where you're standing in front of the screen and whatever, and you have to pretend like you're wherever you are. The volume is kind of like like in the X-Men movie Cerebro, where it's that dome.
Mhm.
It's basically that. So you're working in like a dome room, and like it will project whatever it's supposed to be,
Oh,
and you
okay.
can actually see it and interact with it. But it's limiting because it's like it's not like you're in a real space. So it's like it looks like you're in like this grand palace, but you're not. And so
Mhm.
like there's still limitations on what you can physically do with it, as opposed to Andor, where they actually went to places and filmed on locations. Like they got
Yeah.
a town or they built a town, like whatever the situation may call for. So it's like stuff like that where it's like it's people that they're cheaper. It's not cheap because it's not this is so expensive, but it's cheaper than actually going physically to places. And so it's like if we're not actually going to sets as an audience member that watches stuff, and I'm not even talking like me who's seen a lot of shit. I'm just saying like audience members don't like that. Like
Mhm.
we it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't look natural. So that's what's also pulling this stuff down. And Ahsoka was filmed on the volume as well.
Mm. Okay. So I guess not saying something that you already know is coming out, but as a Star Wars fan, if you had the book and you was in charge and you was going to make a TV show of something, what would be the main character?
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, people love Jedi. We love seeing magic and lightsabers and stuff. But that's the problem though, because they can't move like one would think that they should move. Like the fight choreography is terrible in this show. I said it. I've not seen the few reviews I've seen have not mentioned it, but it was stiff. Even like with
Mm-hmm.
like Rosario Dawson, because it's like that shit's got to be quick, quick, quick. You're a Jedi. You've got lightning flash reflexes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like people reflexes, but a little slower and clunkier.
People reflexes.
So like if I were to make a Star Wars show, it would not be like it wouldn't be like a Jedi. Like maybe we follow like a smuggler or something
Mm-hmm.
to where, there'd be some gunfights. and there'd be action that way, but not like lightsaber stuff.
Or how somebody joined the
It would be so cool to watch somebody join the Empire
that's what
and
I was
like
thinking. What's the
they
white guys?
actually want to.
Um,
Han Solo?
no, the people who work for Darth Vader, white
Oh, the
stormtrooper. There we go.
stormtroopers. Okay,
Like somebody going through Stormtrooper Academy or whatever.
that would be an interesting show.
Yeah. Okay. Something different than what we've been getting.
Yeah, but also Star Wars fans don't want anything different. They don't. They don't want a different kind of story. They don't want anybody that don't look white. They don't want anybody that don't look like a man.
Mm, it's funny that that's what they don't want, but it's funny. It's like the whole point of not the whole point, but the whole premise of Star Wars is you're in a vast universe with different beings and different planets, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently the fans only want one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
All right, Matt, you ready to bring this home?
We need to hurry up. It looks kind of rainy outside.
All right. I didn't I didn't get that first.
As long as you got it eventually, that's all that matters.
Yeah. All right. This week we discuss Weathering with You.
A special heavy rain advisory has just been issued in the Tokyo area.
Would you like the rain to stop?
What do you mean by...
It's gonna clear up.
Set during a period of exceptionally rainy weather, high school boy Hodaiko runs away from his troubled rural home to Tokyo and befriends an orphan girl who can manipulate the weather. I mean, I guess technically she's an orphan. She has a house. What is this description?
Right. And I also like how you skipped his last name.
No, I'm not gonna embarrass. I'm gonna embarrass myself during trivia, but not now.
Okay. Hodaika.
Oh, his name's not. Okay.
And it's
Um.
Morishima.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to you for all names. Okay. So overall, I did like this movie. I've seen 3 of the director's movies. Your Name, this, and Shizumi. Shizumi came out this year. Of those 3, this is my least favorite of the 3. I feel like with Your Name, well, by the end of Your Name, I was like on the verge of tears. Like it was that good and emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Like Your Name, it wasn't a unique story where it's just like, oh hey, we're body swapping and we enrich the other person's lives, until they're like, oh hey, there's actually time travel involved in this, and like there's some other stuff happening. You're like, oh shit. And with Shizumi, it was a monster hunting road trip movie, and I'm like, this is a really interesting premise. And with this movie, it had a couple things going on. Like it had the young man, he ran away from home and he's trying to figure out like, how can I survive in the big city. And then you had the stuff with the young lady where she was the sunshine girl. And I thought that stuff was really good, where they were going to various events, making the rain go away. I really like that. And then they were like, okay, hey, we're not doing that anymore. This is now some cop stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, okay, just kidding. We're gonna get the girl back because he's in love with her. And I'm like, did he need to be in love with her? And so, yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I enjoyed first off, animation. Animation is beautiful in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I like the different where they put the ad outs for them to do the stop the rain for those times.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they explained that how it's only for a period of time in this certain area. So right. I like how they explained that. But then him falling in love with her, the part I did like was because they not foreshadowed it, because I think it might have happened towards the end of it or in the middle of it, when his niece was like, he's just like
Oh,
Um,
her uncle, Mister or whatever.
yeah. Usually have the cast people put up here.
Mister Sugar.
Yeah, Mr. Sugar. Yeah, and how just like how he ran away from home, met a girl, fell in love with her, stuff like that, and how he's following the same path. It it to me the gun thing felt weird to be in
It
this
felt out of
movie.
place.
Right, as a country that is known for having strict gun laws, to be like, because like you could have done this without a gun.
Yeah,
He could have had
a knife.
a knife or anything else like that, and it would you still would have got the same thing. It just felt weird that it was a gun.
Also, why were there advertisements for guns?
Well, that was a you talking the billboard.
Yeah.
That was thing saying that they're having a surplus of gun
Oh, trafficking.
trafficking. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But then like they never explained where this gun came from and like why it was hidden, stuff like that, to where it was weird.
My impression was like he was in a bad part of town, so somebody
Mhm.
probably did something bad with the gun and then dumped it in the trash. That was my interpretation of that.
And that's what the police kind of hinted at, but it was like there was no follow up on that or anything else like that. So that's why I felt out of place. Like if it would have just been a knife or something, then yeah, you wouldn't have explained anything. There's knives everywhere. We could have kept it moving.
Yeah. But I will say, like, I was like, I'm not feeling this movie for real, for real. But then when we get to the end where it shows, like, no, because you quote unquote love this girl and you basically voided her sacrifice, you destroyed Tokyo. I was like, oh shit, movie, we came to play. I mean, it's still the lowest rank of the three for me.
And that's another thing is I like how they added that wrinkle to it, but I wish they would explore that more of how you basically his love for her and him unsacrificing her has destroyed Tokyo. Just like the
Yeah.
granny with the watermelon, her house was destroyed in this flood, but it was kind of like, oh, it's okay. This is how it was years ago. I wish they would have like talked more about
Centuries ago.
the devastation, because then you could have made it in that the love that I have for her or is and to me is more powerful than all of this other all the destruction and everything, all the death and everything caused. It was still worth it to him because the love that he had for her or something like that. But they kind of just glossed over. It was like, oh, all of Tokyo is flooded and life moves on. And that was it.
I have a quote for you from a show called Succession on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through some stuff and this line really resonated with me. And it kind of touches on what you just said. The quote is, what could you possibly kill that you love so much it would make the sun rise again?
Repeat that again.
What could you possibly kill that you love so much it would make the sun rise again? And
Mm.
that's the whole thing. You should have let that girl die.
Right. Right. Because yeah, it's not worth it. In a
Yeah.
because thing he is 16, she's 15. Um pup puppy love don't really mean much. You love her
Right.
today, but these millions of people um
Who
died,
were displaced and or died.
right, because of what you perceive to be love.
Right.
Because even after you did all this, and then for the fact you went to not jail, but you was on probation, you got sent away from her anyway.
Right. All right. Any final thoughts before we transition?
Um, Once again, animation, visually beautiful. I
Yeah.
liked it, loved it. But I haven't seen the what's the other one you said?
Shizumi.
Suzumi. Yeah,
It's quite good. Yeah.
I'll put this is second under your name. Your name was phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. once you shoot, like Shizumi has some issues, but it's better than this.
Okay.
All right, what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes was?
80%.
92 with
Oh,
a
wow.
96% audience score.
Oh, wow.
So I got some trivia dump. We aren't doing like trivia. So what's the young man's name?
Hodaki Morishima.
Hadaki's reasons for leaving the
Oh, sorry.
island.
Hodaka.
The young man's reasons for leaving the island are glossed over in the movie, but the novelization directly implies he was abused by his father.
That's why I assumed when he had like the band-aids on his nose and stuff, and then
Yeah.
he was like, I'm never going back. That's what I assumed.
All right, and then this is kind of long, and I'm going to butcher some names. When Hodaika, Hina, and Nagi are performing the ritual for the elderly woman, her grandson is Taki from Your Name, the main character from Your Name, the boy. This can be seen from her house family name. The shop clerk whom Hodaka brought Hina's birthday gift present from is also a character from Your Name, Mitchia. This can be seen from her name tag. The director confirmed that these scenes take place just before the end of Your Name, where Mitchia and Taki meet in the stairwell. Both characters were reprised by the original voice actors in the Japanese and English versions.
Oh, wow.
So they're in the same universe, and because of this dumbass, he probably killed them.
Right. Right.
All right. That's the show.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Quick, light, to the point. I don't know how long this episode is, because like the counter for me that I'm looking at is off because like we got off track a few times. Not like in a way where it's like, oh man, we can't post that because we got too saucy. It's no, like we literally stopped. Matt got up. He walked away. Like I
Right.
started reading text messages on the air. Like nothing saucy. It's just like show stuff. So it's just like, I don't know. This is probably 45 minutes long, I'm gonna guess.
Maybe 30. Who knows? It's gonna be a surprise.
Get to chopping. Like, nah, we
Yeah.
don't need those segments. We don't need a review this week. But all right. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Yes, that is a thing that exists. We don't use it, but it exists at We Used to Talk Pod. Follow me at Letterbox at BOW1213 and Matt at Mr. King 0257. Come back next week when we switch up the format and Matt hosts, and also do a movie bracket episode in which Matt hosts.
And if it's not good, I apologize. Like always, I don't know if this was a good episode. I don't know if it was a bad episode. But whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.